Hey you guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another What Sold from last week video. As I mentioned in the previous What Sold video, I kind of anticipated my sales dropping this week, which is exactly what happened. And I was actually really surprised that my sales were still up over $4,000 despite having some really low sales days where we hardly shipped anything out. But sales really pulled through, and I'm glad that I do cross post onto other sites because when sales are slow on one, it definitely picks up on the other, and vice versa. I know a lot of people say that if you don't focus all of your attention onto one platform, then it can really take away sales from your main platform because you're constantly ending items. For me, maybe it does that a tiny bit, but the amount of sales I get on another platform completely outweighs that little bit of jab to my sales on one. And so for that reason, I choose to cross post. And I was so happy that I did last week. So normally my sales on eBay are much higher than my Poshmark sales, but actually this week my Poshmark sales really went up. I attribute that to a couple of things. One is that we are no longer cross-posting in bulk. You know, sometimes we would wait a couple of days before cross-posting everything over. Now we're actually cross-posting every single day on over to Poshmark, the same items that are on eBay. It's just creating a bit more consistency on Poshmark. The only exception to that is we don't really work weekends, so we are not cross-posting items on the weekends. So on Monday we'll catch up, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But throughout the week, we've created a little bit more consistency. I have also started really taking advantage of my Posher VA extension and using that to drop prices during certain sales days on Poshmark. So before, I never really paid attention to sales days on Poshmark. I never participated in like closet clear out or make a deal days, and I am trying to actually do that now. I'm trying to give a lot of my love over to Poshmark while still completely focusing on eBay and just really giving a whole honest effort on both platforms. And it's honestly really paid off. So like I said, I've started participating in some of those Poshmark sales days. One of them is closet clear out, and that's the one that I've been most heavily focused on. I told you guys before in previous videos, but I drop prices towards the beginning of every month on both platforms, and I really just did that whatever day of the week I was doing it on. I never really focused on doing it on a particular sales day that benefited me. Then I started realizing that I could be dropping prices the first week of the month during a closet clear out day, and that's kind of how this whole process started. And that's when I learned that closet clear out works. So if you guys don't know what closet clear out is, it is a sale day that Poshmark has every few days. It's kind of random. I just kind of look in the feed to see if there's a notification at the top of the feed that says that they're having a closet clear out day. I don't think that they're necessarily planned to our knowledge. I think they're just kind of random for sellers. But I look for one of those days to happen, and I try to do that the same day that I'm dropping prices. Because when you drop prices at least 10% during a closet clear out day, it will alert the buyer and they will get that 10% off discount, but Poshmark will also, in addition to that, give them free discounted shipping, which comes out of Poshmark's pocket, not yours. And that's a really big incentive for buyers to purchase items and to take advantage of it. I feel like it also puts a little bit of pressure on buyers because closet clear out days only last for that day. So they only have that day to decide and that day to accept the offer. So I have been using that to my advantage when it came to dropping prices every month. Once I started seeing that closet clear out really increase sales for that day, I decided to start testing it out on other days as well. And so on Posher VA, if you didn't know, you can use that extension to share your Poshmark closet. You can send out offers, you can drop prices, increase prices. It does everything. It is awesome. I absolutely love that, and it's super cheap. It's only like 25 bucks a month. If you're interested, there is a link down to Posher VA below if you don't want to do all the work yourself, and there's also a discount code. You can also get a free trial where you don't put in your credit card and just try them out for a week and see if you like it. So that info will be down below, but I've really been coupling using Posher VA with those closet clear out days because Posher VA, I can just do a couple clicks and tell it to drop all the prices for me during a closet clear out day, and I just tell it to drop the prices by 10%, and currently I'm doing anything that is 90 days or older. You can tell your Posher VA to do that. That is a new feature that they added. You can say anything older than 90 days or whatever you choose. So I'm dropping prices 10% on closet clearout days for anything 90 days or older. Buyers are getting the notification that there is a price drop, and then they're also offered that discounted shipping, which does not come out of my pocket. And since I've been participating in those closet clearout days, I've seen a huge jump in Poshmark sales, which is what you're going to see happen here on this week's sales report. So I had a lot of Poshmark sales that I didn't normally have, and I won't say that it surpassed eBay, but it was pretty close. A lot more than what I'm used to. If you're not already taking advantage of closet clearout days, I highly recommend that you do that. Something that I do is, because I only want to participate in the price drop for that day, I'll then go back in the next day after closet clearout happens, and I'll just do the same thing in Poshmark VA, except I will increase the price again back to where it was. And that way it's like it never happened. But I've been using that extension to my advantage during those days, and as you're going to see, it made a big difference. That was a lot of talking, but I thought I'd explain why I'm having some more success on Poshmark and some things I've learned along the way, in case you guys are interested in trying out these methods. But for now, let's dive into the sales. Okay, so all of the sales that you see here on the screen happen between August 21st through the 27th. That is a Saturday through a Sunday, and that is how I calculate my weeks. And I mainly just do it that way because that's how the reports pool. That's how these platforms calculate it. So Sunday through a Saturday, did I say that wrong? Sunday through a Saturday, 21st through the 27th. In total, between two platforms, I sold 151 items for a gross sales total of $4,246.38. Still really surprised by that number, given that eBay was a lot slower than normal, but again, I attribute that to the Poshmark sales rising. My average sale price was $28.12. My estimated cost of goods was $604 for everything that sold last week. And then my estimated net profit, which is the gross sales less the cost of goods, fees, and shipping costs, was $2,457.57. On eBay, I sold 80 items, and on Poshmark, I sold 71. Like I said, it did not surpass my eBay sales, but they were pretty close. On eBay, my gross sales were $2,592.38 with an average sale price of $32.40. And then over on Poshmark, you'll see my average sale price is a lot lower, but I did move a lot of older items using closet clearout, which I am super happy with. So I sold 71 items on Poshmark for a gross sales total of $1,654. We're going to dive right into these sales. I am going to start with eBay, and then I'll share some of the Poshmark sales with you as well. Starting on eBay, I sold this Tory Burch purse. I showed this in a recent video, and you guys were so great. A lot of you commented what the style name was. Unfortunately, I did not get the chance to put that style name and revise the listing before it actually sold. So even without that style name, it still sold, which, you know, amazing. But I think this was called, oh shoot, I'm already forgetting it. I think it was called the Brody purse, maybe. You guys will correct me in the comments, but I appreciate everybody that left a comment saying what this was. I just did not get the chance to put it out before it sold. As I said in that video, I only paid $4.99 for this. I found this under a bunch of other stuff in a cart that was put out of like hard goods, and it was in really excellent condition. So really nice bag. It had like a metallic gold lining. If you guys aren't familiar with Tory Burch, very high quality designer. There are fakes out there, but you should be able to tell based on the quality and how the item feels. So this was just a leather tote bag. Like I said, I paid $4.99. I listed at $499.98, which is a little lower than market, but I wanted to make sure that mine sold quickly. And it ended up selling on an offer to watchers for $89.98. If you guys aren't familiar with my offer to watcher strategy, offer to watcher is something that you can send to anybody on eBay that is watching your item. And that is regardless if you have a buy it now price that includes best offer or not. So we choose to do best offer we choose to do buy it now without best offer, but I do send offers to watchers for 10% off, and I do that multiple times a day. And then I get sales like this of people who are watching it and just waiting for the price to drop slightly. So this one sold for great money, and I'll continue picking up Tory Burch leather. This next one is a cardigan by one of my favorite brands to sell. It is Ralph Lauren. This is the Ralph Lauren line. It did help that this was a size large, extra large. I honestly cannot remember where I got this from or what I paid for it. I think I paid $4.89 for it and got it from a Goodwill, but I honestly cannot remember. And we apparently did not write that down when we were doing the SKU, but I originally picked this up because it was a Western multi-color sweater, and did we put this in the title? We did not. So this is actually lamb's wool and linen. Probably would have sold faster had I put any of that information in the title. But if you guys see any kind of Ralph Lauren multicolor, like westerny looking things, they do extremely well. I did make a video about Ralph Lauren and kind of some of the things that I look for. If you're interested, I will try to link that. But otherwise, just search it on my channel and it'll pop up. But I am a big fan of Ralph Lauren. They have some really high quality pieces, and if you know what to look for, you can make some really good money that other resellers are not knowledgeable about. And Southwestern and Western stuff is definitely one of them. Like I said, I think I paid $4.89 for this at a regular Goodwill. It ended up selling on an offer for $64.74, which in my opinion is a great return on investment, but I do think it would have sold a lot sooner had I put some of those materials into the title. Next up is a band tee. Let me actually close some of these tabs, so that maybe this will go a little faster. My internet has been acting up lately. Here we go. This is a band tee. This is by the brand Trunk Ltd. Nikki actually found this one, and Trunk Ltd. I come across pretty often, as well as like junk food graphic tees. I would say that they're both really great brands to look for in graphic tees, but it really depends on what the graphic is. If you get Trunk Ltd. AC/DC shirts, they perform really, really well. We actually priced this one up because it was like a baseball style. We paid $4.69. We listed it for $69.95. It's sold on an offer to watchers for $62.95. And it looks like we listed this one in May, so it did take a few months to sell, but honestly, a pretty quick flip for a graphic t-shirt. And next up is a pair of men's Nike Shox. And if you guys didn't know, this is a very, very desirable style in Nike shoes with these little Shox down at the bottom. So I'm always looking for men's and women's Nike Shox. The thing about these shoes is, because they don't make this style anymore, is they tend to be older, which means they experience dry rot. And so you always want to check that this part is not separated from the shoe, kind of give it a little bit of that bend test and make sure that there is no dry rot, because I've come across, probably I would say 50% of them I come across have dry rot. You can also find out exactly if you're not sure if they're Shox or not by looking up the style number on the inside here, that 317547-060, into Google, and you'll be able to tell whether they're Shox or not. These ones actually did say on the side, so that was pretty easy, and Shox is spelled S-H-O-X. I was so confident in these that I paid $12.99 for them. And after a few months, they did sell for my full asking price of $53.93, which I was pretty happy with. Some of the different colorways, or if they're in better condition or certain sizes, can actually go up over $100. So you definitely want to keep your eye out for Nike Shox, but do not pick them up if they have dry rot. And next up is a pair of men's Faherty pants, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know you guys always come in the comments. I'm so sorry. I cannot seem to remember everything. We come across so many brands. I think it's pronounced Faherty, or Faherty, but this is an excellent brand to pick up in both the men's and the women's department, but definitely the men's department I find has the best sell-through. And these are a pair of men's chino pants. I actually found these new with tags, which amazing to find those new with tags. So I priced them up for that reason. We paid $4.89 for these, and I would say just about everything in this brand sells for good money for me, but bottoms do especially well. We priced them at $59.97. They took about a month to sell, and they sold on an offer for $50. And next up is a pair of fresh produce pants. I've actually slowed down on this brand a lot lately. I used to pick pretty much everything up in this brand. It's kind of I guess a hippie-ish brand. They sometimes use like organic cotton and linens and stuff like that. But this one, I was able to tell the style because it was new with tags. It was called the Patio Stripe Pedal Pusher, and that had a pretty good sell-through rate. And obviously new with tags helps up the value, as does the size extra large. So priced them pretty high. We found 2 pairs of these. You might have seen it in one of our Thrift With Me videos. Found 2 identical pairs, just different colors, both new with tags. The other one I believe has already sold. This one was the last to sell. We paid $4.89, priced it for $44.98, and it did sell for our full asking price. But like I said, I've been very picky with fresh produce. I do think that it matters to figure out the style name now, and I think I'm going to stick to the larger sizes. Next up is a pretty exciting sale. This is a vintage No Boundaries women's short all overalls. And whenever I have short alls, I'll also put overalls in the title because sometimes people don't search that specific word, short alls. Bib would be another great one to put in there as well. But any kind of overalls, whether that is short alls, regular overalls, or even like a bib overall dress, I always look them up. They perform extremely well. They're not as common and people really seek after them. No Boundaries definitely was not and is not normally a very high-end brand, but this one was definitely vintage, and since the Y2K trend is happening right now, I was like, I'm gonna look this up because brands like No Boundaries have actually been performing really well for me, surprisingly. So I looked this up. These vintage No Boundaries, this particular one, I found a comp on, and it was going for about $40, which is what I listed mine for. Again, so surprising with that brand No Boundaries, but I paid $7.59 for it. I listed it for $39.98, and it did sell for my full asking price within a couple of weeks. Very awesome, surprising sale. This one's kind of a funny story. I picked up these Vans at a thrift store, and I don't normally pick up Vans unless they are really unique. And I was looking these over and I was like, what is the graphic on these? And I was like, is that naked ladies? Like, are those boobs? And they are. So I was not sure what to look up on eBay for these, but I believe I looked up Vans ladies or Vans naked ladies, and come to find out these are actually a breast cancer awareness print that has a pretty good following. So I ended up picking these up for $4.99. There was a light discoloration throughout, but like I said, this particular like print and line in Vans had a really good following, so I decided to go ahead and get it. I priced it at $34.96. It took a couple of months to sell, but it did sell for my full asking price. And so I would just say that if you find any Vans with some unique prints or subject matter, it's definitely worth looking into. Next up is one of my favorite brands to sell. This is Soft Surroundings. And I think just kind of like that fresh produce, it really depends on the style. So you can look up the style of Soft Surroundings by this style number right here. It actually says style number right on the tag, so it makes it super easy to look up. After looking this up, we found this was called the Sea Mist Amalfi Dress, and this one was actually new with tags, so super easy to look up everything. I got this at a consignment store for $8.75 and sold it for $39.97. This particular style seemed to do pretty well. And next up is something I would definitely keep your eye out for during fall and winter. It is goose down stuff, or, you know, stuff with feathers. Eddie Bauer is not typically a brand I get anymore, but because I had Goose Down, I looked it up. This particular vest has a really good sell-through rate, especially when they are in larger sizes, and this one was a size 2XL, which really helped to up the value. This is the First Ascent line. I actually found 2 of these vests at the same store during the warmer seasons, and I went ahead and picked them up because they still had a good sell-through rate during that time. We listed this in July, I think towards the beginning of July, so it took a couple months to sell, but I kind of expected that because, again, we are in warmer weather right now. I paid $4.89 for this. It did sell for my full asking price of $34.97. Next up is one of my favorite outdoorsy brands to sell. This is Cool, spelled K-U-H-L, and I pick almost anything up in the men's department in this brand. The women's I'm a little bit more picky with, but what I'll tell you about this brand is just like everything else, if you can find out the style name, it really helps. With Cool, I haven't really noticed style numbers. This one had it, but usually they don't. And so you kind of have to just go off of keywords in the solds on eBay, and then occasionally you might see another seller that had the style there, and I've been pretty successful with that. This one luckily did actually still have that style tag, and I found out it was called the Dillinger Flannel, and yes, that is spelled correctly. Do a comp on that. They perform really well and have a really good sell-through rate. I paid $4.89 for this. I listed it at $34.98. It sold within a couple of weeks for an offer to watcher of $31.48. I also showed this in a recent Thrift With Me video, and I talked in that video about how we are experimenting with some certain plus size pieces. So brands that I wouldn't normally pick up, I'm doing a comp in larger sizes. This brand is Coldwater Creek. I definitely hardly ever pick up this brand, but this had a few factors stacked on top of each other, which is why I picked it up. So first off, it was a tunic linen blend top, and it was a size 3X and a really nice like minty green color. I paid $4.89 for this. When I did comps, I was really shocked because people were pricing this pretty high. So I priced mine pretty high for $39.98, and it actually sold very quickly within like a couple of weeks on an offer to watcher. Again, that 10% off discount to anybody watching the item for $35.98. And that is really good for a pre-owned top from Coldwater Creek, so just keep your eye out for that. Here's another one of those overalls. Like I said, I pretty much do comps on all overalls. This is called London Jean. That's the brand. I found these at the bins. They were kind of heavy because they're full-length bib overalls. So I probably paid $3 to $4 for them, I'd say. But they sold really quickly within a couple of weeks for an offer to watcher of $31.48. Which is pretty awesome for a men's pickup. But yeah, I would just keep your eye out. You know, there's 2 in this one sold video just alone, 2 kinds of bib overalls. So definitely something there, definitely a style to look for. Keep your eye out for it. Next up is a brand I've talked about a lot lately, but if you're new or reseller and you don't know, Lilly Pulitzer is an excellent brand to pick up. And I find it, you know, uncommon, I guess I would say, to have a women's brand that performs well and something that I pick up no matter what it is. Usually I lean towards a men's department, or there's only certain styles or certain sizes. But with Lilly Pulitzer, there's almost nothing that doesn't perform well for me, even the Target collaborations. So whenever I come across it, I'm definitely getting it. Obviously some things do better than others, but definitely a brand as a newer reseller you can be pretty confident in. I paid $4.75 for this dress. This one is called the Liz Shift dress, and I always say you do want to look up the style information on the inside. Again, that information is right here, because with Lilly Pulitzer, it can make or break your pricing. Like if you didn't look up the style name of this, you might price it at $20 just because it's a sleeveless short dress, but the style name and the print can make a big difference. So definitely do your research on that so you're not missing out on a sale. I paid $4.75, like I said. I listed for $34.98. It sold on an offer to watcher for $31.48, and it looks like it only took a couple days to sell. This is a brand I have now found twice in the last couple of months, and I will absolutely continue to pick it up because every time I've listed it, it's sold very quickly. They've both been linen blend maxi dresses, so I can't say anything about, anything else that they might sell, but I can tell you that even with small spots, these dresses fly off the shelf. The brand is Cut Loose. Like I said, this is a cotton linen blend. They're very minimalist, easy looking. So not something I would typically go for, except that I felt that it was linen, and that's how I originally came across this brand. I paid $4.89 for this. The other one that sold did not have flaws, and it sold for $40. This one did have flaws, which you'll see I listed here, and it sold for my full asking price of $29.98, which, like I said, sold within just a few weeks. This is a Zara women's top. I hardly ever pick up Zara anymore. It's got to be really unique for me to pick it up, or one of the blogger favorites, but I paid $4.69 for this one. I priced it up really high because I could not find an exact comp on this. It had some really cool folklore, bohemian, peasant-y animals. I almost wanted to put zoo in it, to be honest, and it was oversized, so it had a lot of cool factors, and I just thought it was really unique and interesting. The fact that I couldn't find much about it told me that it was a unique item from Zara, which is what you want to look for in this brand. But like I said, I almost never pick up Zara anymore. It really depends. I paid $4.69 for it. I listed this really high, and I can tell just by looking at the pricing that I have price dropped this. So I can't for sure tell you based off of this screen when I listed this, but I think I've been sitting on it for a few months now, probably 4 to 5 months. It ended up selling on an offer for $28.31, which is still a great return on investment, but I would recommend, if you're going to pick up Zara, to make sure it is super unique. Next up are a pair of Wrangler jeans. I paid $6.99 for these, and I only sold them for $24.98, which is a little bit outside of what I like to do in a price range, but these did have a really high sell-through rate, and because we knew they were going to flip very quickly, we took the risk. So sold for my full asking price within a few days of listing. These are called the Shiloh jeans, and they were a size 15, which really helped to up the value as well. And you'll see that we did our cover photo with that W back pocket because that is the most prominent feature on it, and I highly recommend doing that. There are some jeans in jean brands that you wouldn't normally pick up that perform really well because of size and because of style. So don't completely discount a jean brand just because, most of them comp poorly. Again, $6.99 into $24.98. Here's something I took a little bit of a chance on because, again, we're moving out of summer right now and starting to go into that colder weather. So you really want to slow down on the swimsuits, these short mini dresses and things like that. But I took a chance on this because this is a Land's End rash guard, and I looked it up. It performed extremely well, had really good comps, and so I set that aside as soon as we picked it up to be listed first, and I recommend doing that if you guys currently have a back pile of anything, if you have, if you're scheduling out like we do and you're scheduled a week ahead, make sure that you start pulling your summer items now. Get those warmer weather items listed now so that they might have a chance to sell. And that you don't end up sitting on them for an entire year. But I picked this up for $1.50. We listed it immediately because comps were still good. I listed for $24.98, and it sold on an offer to watcher very quickly, like I said, probably within days, for $22.48. Next up is something I've talked about quite a bit, and it is just picking up modern, I like picking up vintage too, obviously, but modern graphic t-shirts. When they are a band tee or a really popular subject matter. This is The Cure band tee. It is not vintage. It is just a regular modern t-shirt, but it was a size extra large, and I thought it had a cool graphic. I usually price these for about $25 if I can't find a specific comp on it, which in this was the case for this one. I paid $4.89. I listed for $24.98, and it sold on an offer very quickly for $22.48. This I got at the same place as that Lands End rash guard. It is a Columbia PFG dress, and same thing with this one. I was a little hesitant to pick it up because we're moving out of that warmer weather, and when I did comps, really amazing sell-through rate, so picked it up, took the chance, got it listed. Again, sold almost immediately. So I picked this one up for $4.75. It sold on an offer to watcher for $22.48, which is about the same that rash guard sold for. This is one of my new favorite men's brands to pick up. It is 32 Bar Blues. Has a really amazing sell-through rate, and it sells almost immediately after I get it listed. You can see it has that tacked on tag, which is a good indicator of something you might want to look into, is if it has these tacked on tags and isn't completely sewn in. Good indicator of a higher end brand. I paid $4.99 for this button-up t-shirt, and it sold for my full asking price of $24.98. And last on eBay, one of my favorite brands to talk about, gets people stirred up, is Knox Rose. This is a size large, just tank top, sleeveless. It is tie-dye, but it was a size large, so I got it. We picked this up at the bins. I probably paid $1 for it. Super lightweight. Listed it for about $25, and it ended up selling on an offer for $20.20. I think it did sit for a little bit, which is why it's been price dropped. Let's move now into some of the Poshmark sales, which, like I said, a lot of these are closet clear out. I had a ton of older items that sold for much less, but I tried to pull some of the better, quicker sales for you. So this first one is a Bowden top. I don't frequently pick up Bowden tops. I almost only pick up the dresses, but this one was pretty unique, and so I looked up like zipper top. I might have even looked up the style number on the inside and found out that this was called the Ottoman ribbed zipper top, which surprisingly had a really good sell-through rate. I picked this up for $4.89, and it sold on an offer probably within a week, I think, for $28. So really popular style in Bowden. Don't discount Bowden tops if you're able to find the exact style. Next up is a pair of Allegria shoes, and I love picking up this brand. They do like comfort, nurse, clog. Those are all great keywords to use, but nurses and people that are on their feet all day tend to get these shoes, and I've learned that the bright multicolor ones seem to perform the best. These are called the Dana Day Mary Jane clogs. They are a multicolor, and they were a size 9, so a larger size. These ones sold very quickly for $36. I pick up almost every Allegria pair of shoes I find if it's in good condition. I think I paid about $5 for these as well. Next up is a pair of anatomy pants. I actually did a short, or maybe you saw it on an Instagram reel. I posted it in both places as a be on the lookout. It is spelled Anatomi, so not your traditional anatomy. And honestly, the tag to me looks a little off, but performs really well. They have like what I would consider travel kind of clothes where they're really lightweight and stretchy and comfortable, and could be used like, you know, they're neutral colored, so they could be worn with pretty much anything. That's what I took from this brand when I looked it up. These ones were called the Kate Skinny Cargo Pants, and I did learn with this brand that the style does really matter. But I was able to do a quick comp with these for cargo pants and saw this exact style had sold, and was able to get the style name from other sellers. These are size extra large, and I was really happy with the return on investment of these. I think I paid, I want to say close to $10 for these, but the comps were so good that did not bother me, and they ended up selling almost immediately for $75. And next up is a pair of Torrid leggings. I actually have been sitting on these for a little while. I think I originally priced them a little bit too high. I got a little excited. These are size 1X. You can see they retail for $70, and I got about half of the retail value of the new tag item. They ended up selling for $35, but I think I originally priced them very high at like $50. What I'll say about Torrid is anything with skulls, which you can see these were like a skull metallic print, anything with skulls, a high sell-through rate in Torrid. And then obviously a larger size is going to help that sale, but keep your eye out for Torrid skull items. This is one of my absolute favorite brands to sell now. I hardly ever find them, but when I do, I'm always excited. It is On Cloud, and I think a lot of thrift stores do not price these up because they don't know what they are, because all they see is this ON, and they're just not sure what the brand is. And so these ones actually came new in box. My thrift store did price them up a little bit because they were new in box. And I think I paid between $20 and $25 for them, knowing that I was going to sell them for over $100. These are very, very high sell-through rate shoes, both in men's and women's. These ones were a pair of women's, again, new with box. They sold for $126. So 25 into 126, I cannot beat that. Next up is a J. Crew blazer. I think I paid about $6 for this. This is the Park 1 button blazer. I was actually able to look up the style. And all I can say is that J. Crew, both women's and men's blazers, most of them perform really well. If you're someone like me who really hates selling blazers just because there's just so much involved with them and the measurements are kind of funky, give J. Crew blazers a try, because in my opinion, they're pretty cut and dry in both the men's and women's department. They usually have a style number, so you can look that up and get everything you need to determine whether you should pick it up or not. And they usually sell for quite a bit of money. Usually with J. Crew blazers, you're looking at $40 and up for a pre-owned item. So again, this one was called the Park 1 button blazer. It was a navy color, and it sold for $38. Next up is a pair of jeans that is in one of my new favorite brands. This is Judy Blue. I used to pass on this brand. It did not seem like a good brand to me because it had junior sizing. You can see it's a size 7 here, indicating a junior size. But once I finally did a comp on it, I saw they had a really amazing sell-through rate. This particular style, called the boyfriend fit, does really well. And these are just a pair of black boyfriend fit jeans. They sold for $27. Some of the larger sizes you can actually get up over $30 for them. This is a great men's brand to be on the lookout for. This is Mizzen and Main. Not everything in this brand does well, but their pants tend to, and this was called the Baron Chino in an athletic fit. It also helped that they were a size 40, so I priced them up a little higher. I think I priced these at like $50 and they sold on an offer for $40, but just in general, high retail and pretty high resell depending on what you have. Mizzen and Main, really great brand in the men's department. Here's another Torrid piece, and something I've been experimenting with are Torrid dresses, if they are a little bit dressier. A dressier dress, if you will. Something that could be worn to like a cocktail party or an event, I've noticed performs extremely well, especially in the larger sizes. So this one was a size 2X red dress. I ended up accepting an offer of $31, but there have been times where I've been able to get $40-50 for a Torrid event dress. Next up is a brand I absolutely love, especially in cashmere, and I highly recommend that you look for cashmere in this brand during this winter season. This one was made out of recycled cashmere and wool, so it wasn't 100% cashmere, which is why it's a lower price than what you're typically seeing in cashmere Everlane sweaters, but had a little bit of pilling throughout. I still decided to get it. I find that Everlane cashmere, even with small flaws, does perform really good, so keep that in mind as you're looking for cashmere. This one sold for $36. This was something I recently picked up. I come across a lot of Lucky Brand shoes, and what I'll tell you about Lucky Brand is they have the style name on the inside of the shoe. I apparently did not get a photo of it, but you can kind of see it here. And so you can really quickly look up whether it's a desirable style or not. Lucky Brand does retail for a lot, but does not always have a great sell-through rate. And I'll say that 90% of the shoes I pick up, the styles are not good. This particular one was called Marguerite, and I looked at it because it felt like a high quality leather mule. And it ended up being a really great style with a pretty decent sell-through rate. These sold very quickly after I got them listed for $31 on Poshmark. This is a brand I'm still picking up if it is in larger sizes. This one was a size 3X. It's logo by Lori Goldstein or Goldstein. They tend to do tunic, longer length stuff, very login looky. And this one sold pretty quickly for $24. This is one of my favorite sales. I think this might be, it's either the last or the second to last of those anime t-shirts you guys saw in that recent thrift haul. And this is the Monkey D. Luffy one. Honestly, I think we should have, I think that's the character name. I don't think it's the name of the show or whatever it is. We totally missed it, but still performed really well and sold really quickly. I've sold each of these for about $40 each. So I'm really happy with that. And the brand is Uniqlo or UT by Uniqlo. So if you come across any Uniqlo anime t-shirts, I definitely keep your eye out because I've sold, like I said, probably 3 or 4 of them now for about that $40 range, and I couldn't be happier with it. A lot of anime stuff does really good. This is definitely a brand to look for in men's jeans. It is Big Star. And Big Star is sold at Buckle, which is why we put Buckle in the title. These are called the Pioneer jeans, and this particular style, Pioneer, has an extremely high sell-through rate. So definitely keep your eye out for that, but a lot of these Big Star jeans in the men's department do well. We listed ours, I think, at about $45. It sold on offer for $38. And another great brand to sell in jeans in both men's and women's is Rock Revival. These runs were called the Andrea Skinny. I would recommend looking up the particular style name. I think I paid $6.99 for these, and they ended up selling for $63 on Poshmark. Some styles are not as desirable, so again, you do want to look that up. I think that these ones sold so quickly because they were a waist 32, which is a larger size in women's. And lastly, it was just a surprising sale for me. I picked this up on a gut instinct. It is an Anthropologie brand called HD in Paris. It's only a size medium and it's a tank top, but it just was very pretty. You know, one of those pieces where you just have a gut feeling and you're like, I can't put this down. I can't stop thinking about it. I just know it's going to do well. That was one of those pieces for me. It had a really unique sheen to it. This like pattern here is a raised velvet. And when the light hits it, as you can kind of see here, it looks kind of metallic-y. And I don't know what else to say other than there was a lot of factors stacking with it that told me it was going to sell. I listed for $30 on Poshmark. It sold on an offer to watcher for $27. Alright guys, so that's it for What's the Last Week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you currently have Posh VA and you currently use Closet Clear Out, try those things at the same time. It works amazing. And if you haven't participated in the Closet Clear Out, maybe try it the next one because like I said, I have had a huge boost in sales. I mean, they were just constantly rolling in. But that's it for the video. I've got some interesting things coming up. As you can see, we've got like 2 processing tables here now where we used to just have the one. So I think I need to update you guys very soon on the things that are happening here in the office. We did hire another person. She is doing fantabulous, and I'm excited to share with you some of the growth that we're having. So if you're interested in being notified next time we post videos, either about what sold, about the office, or thrift hauls, make sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified as we post new content. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.